the investigation on the leak. The last we heard, Alito said it was a betrayal. And it was a very open-ended saying if it was a betrayal. It was a question asked at the Heritage Foundation, which, in my opinion, and maybe it's a function of my conspiracy-addled mind, was a question that he invited. It wasn't. I get the sense that Alito doesn't go to the Heritage Foundation and they ask him surprise questions. And maybe I'm wrong about that, but I find it very, very hard to believe that a Supreme Court justice is going to the Heritage Foundation and they're, springing questions on this guy in a public forum. And so he clearly wanted to address it. He referred to it as a betrayal, which to me, this was my take. I'm curious as to yours, is his way of saying this was done to me. Because he went on to say, we got death threats because of it. Ignoring the fact that Sonia Sotomayor had a death threat, a year before, ignoring that 15 years ago, John Cornyn, was on the Senate floor going I can understand why people want to attack federal judges, because of their rulings. He made it it sounded to me like he was setting up a narrative where they were as victimized by this as anybody else, which I find to be a little bit rich, because it ultimately probably locked in maybe a couple of votes that were wavering. At least that, in my estimation, was the agenda. What's your sense of that? And have you heard anything in terms of when the timing might come?
Only what you have heard. I do not think we will ever get a definitive result of this leak investigation. I think it's a lot of theater. I think that they're going through the motions. I don't think they will find an answer. And further, I agree with your speculation that this is more likely than not a leak from conservative chambers that were designed to lock in Brett Kavanaugh's vote with the majority. I mean, remember, a week before the draft came out, the Wall Street Journal clearly got a leak and wrote a whole editorial saying Brett Kavanaugh shouldn't waver and should stick with, the maximalist decision rather than going over to John Roberts' compromise. So I just think the whole thing is ridiculous. I doubt we'll ever get an answer. People like Alito will use it to justify their endless grievances. The rest of us will probably forget. I don't think it will become a normal thing that happens all the time. I think this was a one-time only thing in a very major case, and we'll never really know. And that will allow Alito and Thomas and all of those conservatives to continue to act like they are the real victims of the Dobbs decision.
I will never forget. I'm going to talk about this ad nauseum until the entire audience has passed on and they have no idea what I'm referring to. But that's what's going to happen around here. Mark Joseph Stern, thank you so much. Senior writer at slate.com. We'll put a link to all of your writings so that people can further understand these things. Hope to talk to you again soon for the next round of really disturbing decisions that will be coming down from this court.
I would say I look forward to it, but I frankly don't. Thank
I understand.
You anyway.
Believe me. I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
All right, folks. This is going to be this investigation. I don't know. Matt remembers this. It was the Janus case, and I can't remember the one that came before it. That was about to be decided, and then Scalia dies, and it wasn't the Janus case at that time. I can't remember the name of it. It was a different case, bringing up the same issues as to whether public sector unions had a right to charge an agency fee. Not dues necessarily, but an agency fee, because you're in a union shop and everybody gets their compensation negotiated by union lawyers. Agency fee just basically pays for those representation directly. There's no other unions. And we had basically, do you remember that year, Matt? I think we did about, 20% of the shows were on those two cases.
One a week.
Yeah. And that was basically the only thing. Show did much better the following year, actually, in terms of audience for some odd reason. But I basically made a public choice. And that was, I don't care if there's only 4 people listening to this program. By the end of the year, those 4 people will understand this case and the import of it. And then Scalia dies, and then everything else happens, and then Janus happens.
Was it Epic Systems? Oh, sorry. Was it Epic Systems v. Lewis?
Epic Systems v. Lewis? That does not sound right. Nope.
I'm just looking at some
It was
2018.
a precursor to the Janus case. I can't remember what it was, but somebody will do it. Hi, this video is sponsored by Kamikoto Knives. These are amazing Japanese steel knives. They are made using traditional techniques. Each knife is individually inspected and comes with a lifetime guarantee. The knives come in this beautiful heavy-duty ash box, wood box, which makes a great present, obviously. The knives are used by Michelin star chefs all over the world. They have a single blade bevel, so they can get incredibly sharp. There's all sorts of different knives and cuts. Yeah, I know these things are amazing. If you're a part-time chef, or you take your knife works seriously, these knives are for you. Kamikoto is now running a Black Friday sale and offering my viewers an extra US $50 off on any purchase with the discount code MAJORITY. On top of other special offers, go to https://kamikoto.com/majority. That's kamikoto.com/majority to get your knife set and help support our channel.